Hi everyone, this is Selvi. Today's interview question is: which is the best day to start the sprint? Very interesting question. When we hear this question, automatically we say it should be Monday because it is the start of the week, so we should generally start our sprints on Monday. When saying this answer, we only think about the starting day of the sprint, but we are not really thinking about the last day of the sprint. When we say that we are starting the sprint on Monday, automatically the sprint last day will be on Friday, even though if it is 2 week sprint or 3 week sprint. Regardless of the length of the sprint, when we are starting the sprint on Monday, that means automatically we will be ending the sprint, that is the last day of the sprint will be on Friday. That is the catch. Because the last day of the sprint is on Friday, here comes the issue. What is the issue here? Rather calling it as an issue, I want to say there are challenges. Because of these challenges, we recommend that Monday should not be actually a right or best day to start the sprint. What are those challenges? Let's try to understand those challenges and then we talk about what will be the best day to start the sprint. Friday, that is the last day of the sprint. Happy Friday, weekend mode. It gives a little bit extra pressure to the team members to close all the work items as last day of the sprint, being it's a start of the weekend. Second thing, generally, or there are more chances team members may be taking a long weekend, which means they may be taking time off on Fridays. Another challenge, when we generally end the sprint on Friday, the upcoming sprint we will be starting on Monday. There are chances that people may be extending their vacation or time off till Monday also. Considering Saturday, Sunday as weekend, they may be taking extra time off on Monday. So, time off period generally for team members are more in cases of Friday and Monday. But in our case, Friday being the last day of the sprint and Monday being the first day of the sprint, there are challenges. So, we talked about the weekend mode, we talked about the time off, that is the long weekend time off on Friday and Monday. Third point is, let's consider that our team is a distributed team. What happens in the distributed team? Let's consider, for me it's Friday evening. Some of my team members are working from the other side of the world, other part of the world. For them it's just Friday morning. They are doing some work and they are completing by mid of their day, and they wanted the tester to test it. Tester is available on the other side of the or the other part of the world where it is already Saturday early morning. What happens now? Tester is extending the time. Weekend time is getting extended for work. Sometimes what happens, if the developer is on the other time zone, there are situations that we may need to collaborate with other developer when we are developing something. But already one person may be in the weekend and the other person is still on the Friday and they want to collaborate and complete the task, which generally brings into a level of taking the weekend time for completing the sprint. And what is the additional situation that arises here is, generally, even though we say that the last day of the sprint is on Friday, team thinks that okay, Monday only we are going to have our sprint review. Let's try to close as much as we can, whatever it's pending on Saturday and Sunday. So every sprint it is a kind of like unnecessary pressure that we are building, which is not a right scenario. This is the third challenge. So, with all these challenges, is it really a good option to start the sprint on Monday? Now, we talked about all the issues mostly with last day of the sprint. There is one more challenge I want to highlight on the first day of the sprint, that is the sprint planning. What happens? The sprint planning is happening on Monday morning in one part of the world, whereas the other part of the world, where some of the team members are located with, they are still on their weekend, that is on Sunday. How are we going to manage it? Are we going to wait till Monday evening? Then what will happen to the team who is already on Monday evening and not on Monday morning? So these all are challenges when it comes to distributed team. Of course, there are challenges with co-located team as well, because when we say the common problem is when we say the sprint is ending on Friday, automatically we get into a mode like whatever the spillover items or the items that have little bit of work pending, let's try to catch up and complete it on the weekend so that on Monday we will be able to deliver all the committed work items that we have planned in the sprint. So even with or without the knowledge, we are getting into a mode of taking the time on weekend for completing the work of sprint just because Friday is the last day of the sprint. What if the last day of the sprint is on Tuesday? I'll try to complete as much as I can, and I can also support as much as I can with my team members who are on the other part of the world, because next day I need to again catch up with my office work, which is Wednesday. And Wednesday morning, if we are planning the sprint planning meeting, it's Wednesday for some of the team members, Wednesday morning, and for other team members who are located in the other part of the world, it's Tuesday evening. Fair enough. Just we have completed the sprint and we are starting the new sprint. Is this logic completely works fine, or the Friday closure day of the sprint is working fine? Now we get the difference. Now we can understand the challenges, and now we can understand what is the best scenario. So always think that whenever we are starting the sprint, not only the starting day of the sprint is important, even the last day of the sprint is also very important, because on the last day team gets into the mode of closing all the items, and we need to really think about how well we are utilizing that day. But at the same time, we need to be really, really mindful about the situation that if we plan it on Friday as the last day of the sprint, situations arise in such a way that we may be spending some time on weekend to close the open items. And if it happens on every sprint, which is not a right scenario, even for one sprint, it is not a right scenario. So always plan your sprints in such a way that starts on the mid of the week. I mentioned Wednesday as the starting day of the sprint and Tuesday being the last day of the sprint, which worked comfortably fine for me in my experience. I have seen many teams following that. You can even start Thursday as your starting day of the sprint and Wednesday being the last day of the sprint as well. But try to avoid Monday to Friday kind of sprint cycles, because that comes up with a lot of challenges. So by planning in such a fashion, by starting the sprint on the mid of the week, we can at least avoid those challenges. This is the information I just want to discuss and share about this topic. Thanks everyone for listening. Happy learning and stay tuned.